Okay, so one last time before we go live. This Friday for the Prime Card, 24-hour live stream. The breakdown merch is on sale right now. Link in the description. I'm back, and it's time to give my predictions. We're going to do two videos just like this. This is the first one. Who wins? And I'm not going to waste any time. We know how big this moment is. We know what's at stake for everyone on the Prime Card. But today, I'm going to give my final prediction for the co-main event or the people's main event or whatever you want to call the fight between Logan Paul and DILLON DANIS. Who wins and why? The breakdown. Let's go. All right, so I broke this fight down. Left, right, sideways, up, down, scissor ways. I can't find any other ways other than the two possibilities that I'm going to go over. First off, the elephant in the room we have to address is the fact that DILLON did hit Logan Paul in the face with a microphone today and left his face looking like this, which, whether you want to believe it or not, is probably going to play into this fight. Like, he's still going to get cleared to fight. I have no doubt about that, but it will play a factor. Now you already have this swelling on your face, and I'm sure DILLON's going to try to target it. I don't know how accurate he'll be, but that's going to have some effect, whether it's physical or psychological. Logan is now, according to KSI, even more angry and wanting to kill DILLON in that ring, and those emotions Logan's bringing to the forefront may help him or they may not. Emotions can be a very big motivator for fights, but they also can be a detractor from staying within your game plan and executing that game plan. So that will have a factor on this fight, and I would argue that it is going to make a difference in how I even pick this fight, but not to a degree that I'm going to change my pick, because I see this fight going, again, one of two ways. Number one is, in my opinion, the most logical way I can look at this fight, and that is that Logan Paul, in his majority of experience in boxing, doesn't mean he's a high-level boxer, but he has far more than DILLON does, outboxes DILLON in this match. And whether he's saying he wants to stop DILLON early or he's not, Logan has a lot more ways to win this fight. His jab coming from awkward angles, him throwing the up jab and looking to utilize his lead hand to go to the body, his hook upstairs. I do want to see Logan let go that right hand like we all have. I want to see him be on his bike a bit more. I don't want to see him falling into a trading match with DILLON DANIS, and if you're a Logan Paul fan, you won't want that either, because that does favor the guy that doesn't have as much technique, because those shots become 50-50s. So if Logan wants to get inside, work in the clinch, that's fine, but you do so sparingly. You don't stay around to see what happens after you land your shots. You are in and you are out. You don't have to be a brawler or to sit down in the pocket and trade to knock someone out at all. Logan can set his shots up with the jab and then come behind it with a clean right hand, a clean one. Not the thing we saw in the open workout where he kind of flailed out a right hand, which is, again, when we talk about Logan's improvements, one of the things that he just hasn't done is improve his technique. Like, you can say that Logan threw that right hand in the open workout, and I may make a big deal about it, but for the most part, you intentionally throw the way your muscle memory has provided you to throw. And that's what Logan did there. That's how he's thrown right hands from the rip, and it's probably what we're going to see on fight night to a degree. DILLON will probably reach for Logan, and what I mean by that is he'll probably overextend. He will probably look to push Logan, to pressure Logan, to be in his face, to smother him, and in those cases, Logan's head movement, right, his ability to bend at the waist and throw shots behind it, fluidity in his defense to offense, that will be important. So I need to see more of that in the future. Walking DILLON onto a shot off the back foot is something Logan has had experience with KSI in the past. I want to see that in this fight as well. Logan does have to be wary of his gas tank. I know he's been training, and he says for the last 2 years, but we also know that Logan's gas tank will at some point be one of his biggest enemies. It has been in almost every fight, including the Floyd Mayweather one. Sure, he went the 8 rounds, but it wasn't a clean 8, right? It was him taking rounds off in the middle, him looking to clinch heavily off his jab and deal with whatever Floyd Mayweather gave him. And you're talking about Floyd, who's, yes, arguably the greatest boxer that's ever lived. At the time Logan fought him, no, he wasn't. And he was also 60 pounds less. So DILLON may have as much a powerful punch or close to it as Floyd Mayweather, just based off the 50 pounds he had that Floyd didn't. Barring DILLON still understands how to throw a punch, which I think he does. So Logan can't just rely on the clinch here. Like, DILLON's a master in that space. He has to box DILLON, and he has to show him the difference in level between just picking up this sport for a fight and for a cash grab like DILLON's doing, and training it as long as Logan has. In this scenario, I think Logan wins a decision. As much as we clown DILLON for not being able to box or not looking the best technically, I still know he knows how to fight and he knows how to take punches. Not saying that Logan can't end him in 1 or 2, but if he doesn't, this is going to turn into, in my opinion, a fight where he's going to have to outbox him. DILLON wants Logan emotional. He wants him invested to the point where he gets a little out of character here and throws shots has to open himself up to whatever it is that Dillon does have in the tank or up his sleeve to counter with. If you're Logan, you stay with the game plan. If the knockout comes, it comes, but if it doesn't, you put that 6-round unanimous decision, leave no doubt, King Kenny, Winterson, Nunes style victory on him. I think that's just as impressive. Scenario number 2 is that Dillon DANIS actually finds a way to get Logan out of his game plan. Dillon DANIS takes a bunch of punches early in this fight, and Dillon DANIS finds a way to push Logan to the brink of exhaustion and starts to turn the tide and potentially stops Logan Paul. Now, this is a less likely scenario because I don't know if Logan's going to put enough volume on the table to then be pushed to exhaustion. I don't know that Dillon is going to come out of this as cleanly in those early rounds to just continue moving forward. I know he can take punches, but there's a certain threshold if he's able to take advantages of the weaknesses of Logan Paul. We've talked about it many times. Logan's low hands, his pure reactionary base, his athleticism base. There's not a lot of fundamentals that Logan has stacked on to a good base of athleticism. It's just not there. Year by year by year, he has fallen into what he likes to do versus what is more beneficial for Logan to do as a boxer. This is what makes a fundamental boxer. This is what makes a high-level boxer, is someone that can rely on their fundamentals, use their athleticism when needed, stack that on to the base they already have, and become a multifaceted fighter. Logan is strictly an athletic fighter right now. Say what you will about Dillon DANIS. He's able to gas him, and this becomes a dogfight. I told you guys before, out of the 4 people in the main events, there's only one guy that's never won a fight, and that's Logan Paul. And again, I know we're talking MMA versus boxing. These things don't correlate. Dillon's jiu-jitsu is not going to correlate the same, but it's here. It's the mentality that we're going to talk about with KSI and Tommy as well. But when things get tough, what does Logan do? Because history says when things get tough, Logan will look to survive and not to win. The big X factor in this whole argument that I'm making is that Dillon has enough tenaciousness to get Logan's attention like KSI did back in those days. Because Dillon will be unorthodox, just like KSI was. Dillon will look to push Logan, just like KSI did. He will look to pressure him, just like KSI did. With the one X factor being, can Dillon hurt Logan? Can he put something on Logan to make him fear, to make him think about when KSI took him to his very limit, a place Logan did not want to go again? In that scenario, I could see Dillon DANIS finding a way to stop Logan Paul in this fight, especially if it was late in the fight, TKO, not from the power of punches, but the sheer volume, and Logan being maybe just so dead tired that he looks to that back door, sees it cracked open, and goes, you know what, I'm just gonna exit stage left. That can happen, but there's a lot more circumstances that have to go perfectly right for Dillon in that case for that to happen. One would have to be that Logan isn't accurate, and to be fair, Logan hasn't been the most accurate puncher for his career. 2 would have to be Logan gets out of his game plan, and again, you could understand the emotions, the cut on the eye, the Nina talk, the lawsuits, getting to Logan and getting a little irrational. Number 3 would be Dillon having to survive big time power and keep pushing through Logan's punches. And Logan has only shown big time power for 1 shot against KSI, and outside of that, he hasn't really yet. So it's a possibility, but in my opinion, it's not the most likely one. So with that being said, out of the 2 scenarios I gave you, I'm going to officially predict that Logan Paul wins a decision here. Dillon will come out looking fairly good. That doesn't mean that Logan can't KO him early like a lot of people are predicting, and it doesn't mean that Dillon can't win like some people are. With Logan's strengths, with his weaknesses, with Dillon's strengths, with his weaknesses, the most likely scenario is that Logan finds a way to outpunch Dillon every single round, and even if the gas tank starts to deplete late in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, Logan has done the work early to carry him late. I could even see the tide turning in that 5th or 6th, Dillon getting on the mic in 8 Diaz style and being like, well, if this is a real fight, I would have won. If it was a real thing, which won't matter much because Logan will have won the war. That's where I'm going. Logan Paul in a decision victory. Don't be surprised if I'm flat out wrong here and the sequence of events leading to this fight play out on fight night. Are Logan's emotions in check? How bad is that cut on his face? Is Dillon ready for this moment? Has it all been talk? I don't have any of those answers, but we're less than 24 hours away. Dillon DANIS versus Logan Paul will be decided on the Prime card. Who wins? Guess we'll find out.